What's going on, guys? So this is just going to be kind of like a homebrew Wednesday. Also going to be doing my first sjpoor judging. So here's a disclaimer: if you're in the sjpoor challenge, and Kevin Clements is your distributor, and you have not already judged, which you probably have not since this is pretty early. This 10-gallon American Pale Ale, ki027us. You should recognize it. So if you have not already judged this beer, skip forward until I'm done judging, because I'm going to be talking about some of it, and you don't want to get mixed up with, or you don't want my opinions to influence your own. So this is called 10-gallon American Pale Ale, an OG of 1067, FG of 1013, 68 to 70 IBUs, 7 ABV. It has right here two-row, 88%, caramel 120 at 7%, and 5% red wheat. 90-minute Centennial, 30 of Cascade Centennial, 5 of Columbia Cascade, 0 Colombian Cascade, and it's dry hopped with 4 ounces each, Cascade, Centennial, and Mosaic. Okay, so let's just crack into this thing. I do not know exactly whose this is. It doesn't have their YouTube channel on, which I kind of like, so I can be... Alright, definitely carved. Kind of excited. Alright. One other thing that I'm going to be doing is this is going to be my tasting glass. It's a tulip glass, but I will not be using soaps or chemicals on it for head retention judging purposes. So I'll just be rinsing out with water and air drying. So I'm not running it through the dishwasher or rinsing it out with soap or anything that I think could kill the head. Holy fuck, cats. Okay, sorry. Pour this out. Alright, so right off the bat, it's dark. Darker than I would think an American Pale Ale typically would be. I saw that he has 7% caramel 120, he or she. So I'm going to attribute to that. So 7% is actually quite a bit. I'm just doing the quick math in my head. I think I typically used like a 5% of a crystal 20 or 15. A little bit murky, not really clear. The head dissipated pretty quickly. Some good lacing. It is fairly murky. It hasn't been shooken up. It's been in the fridge for 5 or 6 days, and I brought it right up here. So. The carbonation on it seems decent. It's not gushing bubbles, but I can definitely see bubbles coming up. I'd say carbonation is probably right on. I'll have to maybe taste it, but let's go ahead and give a smell of it. Okay. There's definitely a caramel sweetness to it. You can smell the hops slightly. No, you can smell the hops. It has a nice hop aroma. It is like a classic hop aroma that I'd consider. And looking at the hops, I can see why. I mean, they're nice, really nice American hops. Cascade, Centennial, Columbus. There is a sweetness that I detect that I don't usually look for in an IPA. Almost a sweetness like in an English Pale Ale or an ESB or something. It has like that caramel sweetness. On the aroma, I do get a little bit of the acetyl aldehyde. So it's a little, I don't know how to say that. That's funny. Acetaldehyde. Aldehyde. So it's a little bit of like a green apple-like aroma. And I think that's attributed to maybe the yeast pitch. I'm not sure on that, but I do get a little bit of that. On a scale of 1 to 10, I've brewed beers that have this extremely bad before, and it's probably like on a scale of 1 to 10 on how bad the aroma is, probably a 2 or 3. So it's real slight. It's not to the point where it's an unpleasant smelling beer at all, but I can pick it up slightly. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into this bad boy. Perfect hop bitterness for an IPA. I think the bitterness is right on. This is right where I love IPAs. Not overly bitter, not under bittered. The smoothness of the bitterness is perfect. And this is something that I struggle with in my beers, is the hop bitterness, which I think whatever you're doing with your water, I think you've got it spot on, because I think that has a lot to do with the hop bitterness and flavor. So that is perfect. I mean, don't put any more or any less hops in this beer. There is probably more sweetness than I might expect in an IPA. There's no diacetyl, no DMS. There's none of that. But there is also, and again, it's like a 2 or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. The amount of kind of a green apple acetate, whatever. So there's a little bit of that green apple flavor on it. But again, it's not enough to put me off to where I promise you I'll drink the rest of this beer and I'll enjoy every single sip. It's a very nice beer. It's just that little bit of, I think, fermentation or yeast pitch rate. It's one of those two that kind of causes that green apple. Maybe temperature, but I don't think so. I think temperature really gets more of that harsh alcohol taste, which I don't really taste any harsh alcohol kind of stuff like that. I think perfect carbonation, perfect body. It's not overly dry. I think it's just right on. I think the sweetness that I do get from it is from the caramel. I don't think it's from, it finishes dry but with the sweetness. So I believe it finished dry enough, but it just has that too much caramel. 120. I would maybe kick that out. I think it would have been a much better beer as far as appearance and the level of sweetness if you had no caramel or just like a lighter caramel. So let's see here. Yeah, overall impression. I think it's a good beer. I would totally drink this. I would share it with friends, and yeah, I think it's a good beer. Maybe not excellent, maybe not great, but I think it's leaning on good to great. So yeah, great beer. I'm not exactly sure whose this is, but cheers, man. So on to other news. I think on this sjpoor challenge, I think what I'm going to do is, depending on how long my videos, how long I can kind of summarize what I think about the beer, I think I might do 2 or 3 judgings and different sit downs, but I might edit them all together in the same video, so that so I don't spam people's inboxes with just beer reviews and yada yada yada. So I can, do a 20-minute video of 3 different or 4 different beers. Great carbonation. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to judge 2 or 3, maybe 4 beers, edit all that video together, and then put that out into one video. Let me know what you guys thought about the way I judged the beer. If I gave too much information, if I gave too little. There's a little bit more on here that I wrote down. I'm obviously not writing scores down. I'm not telling you the scores that I'm writing down or the final score I'm going to give it. But let me know if that was too much information, if it was not enough information. Yeah, so let me know how you think about that. So other news, I've been brewing a lot of like wedding beers. I got 2 buddies getting married, so I brewed a pale ale and I'm brewing a stout as we speak. So I've been brewing a lot, but my kegerator is kind of running empty. So that's kind of cool. The barrel project has been great. It's still bubbling away. So I'm kind of surprised how much activity is still going on in the barrel. You know, a week or 10 days out. I didn't think it was gonna be this. I mean, it's not active. It's just once every 20 seconds. The GABF. So Paul Wickstein, or Time for Another One's coming down to Denver. So you may or may not know that I live in North Denver, in Thornton, Colorado, which is one of the northern suburbs of Denver. So I'm gonna try to definitely hook up with Paul at some point while he's here. I think I'm gonna try to go to the Thursday session, the members session. I'm gonna try to go to that one, so that'll work. So if Paul, if you're watching this, we'll definitely hook up for like either if we're not going to the same session, then we'll definitely hook up for a beer before or even after the GABF. Obviously, I have a car and stuff like that. So if you want to go to a brewery that's like not in downtown Denver, that's cab accessible, or I don't know if you guys are renting a car or what, but I'm assuming not. What side of the road does New Zealanders drive on? They're for sure backwards from us. Actually, I know that for a fact. They're backwards from us. So I'm assuming you're not renting a car. But maybe you know how to drive on the correct side of the road. I don't know. But if you guys aren't renting a car, let me know. And one of those days, like on a Saturday, if you guys wanted to go hit up a couple breweries around town, or you know, that aren't just in downtown Denver. As of right now, man, I could totally chauffeur you guys around, you and your buddy that's coming down. So that'll be cool. So yeah. Anyways. Cheers, guys. I am going to get this entered into the database, and hopefully nothing hiccups. But yeah, so whoever brewed the 10-gallon American Pale Ale, good job. I'm enjoying it. So, all right, cheers, guys. Later.